fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul. What's this? Got y'all all turned up. Tell me what's going on. So many Israelites searching who they are and preparing to go home. Wait a minute, I thought this was home, but you speak of another place. We in the land of our enemies in captivity, but the gathering is taking place. Fire, 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 fire. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fire in my soul. So much fire. Fire, fire, fire. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fire in my soul. Shut up in my bones. Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul. Ever since I woke up and finding what belongs to me, I want my crown and my robe like the saints of old, my legacy and history. Wait a minute, I thought you was the children of slaves, but you're telling me you're kings and queens. We the chosen of Yah, the apple of his eye, the original royalty. Fire, 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 fire. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fire in my soul. So much fire. Fire, fire, fire. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fire in my soul. Shut up in my phone. Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul.
Rebirth, fire in my soul, all flames in the members. Ruach, contained in our members. Ruach, Jeremiah, cause it shut up in our bones. Can't sleep so deep like it came in syringes. Why? Cause our king is tremendous. Most high, serial contenders. Hallelujah, Abaya, Yahusha, Yahuda, Yahuda. Get them hands up in the sky.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's your boy, Michael Israel. You watching the Spiritual Combat Show. And today, we're going to be talking about finding common ground. I got my guest here, Nathan White. He is the one who inspired me to invite him on because it's one of his videos I saw. And also just to have this discussion. But real fast, I want to give a couple shout outs and a couple quick announcements while everybody's coming in there. Everybody's logging in and coming in. Shout out to MS Vid. Shout out to Yasha Allah, IBN Yasha Allah. Shout out to Naomi, Salia. Shalom. Shout outs to you. My man Tony Pope, shalom, shalom, Sister Hicks. Good to see you in there. Hope you're enjoying your evening. Chanel, shalom to you. Tressa, shalom, and shalom to everybody else watching. I want to give a shout out to my Ak Yehukanan Yasha Allah. Rayma Clothing, shout out to Twidwear, shout out to everybody. Want to tell y'all, definitely make sure y'all check out. I got to start promoting my ish. Hold on one sec. I got to start promoting my ish, Tava Origins. This is Sister Koya Israel, her natural skincare products. Check out her page. Like it, friend it, professionally done products. Definitely check it out. Look at what she has. Support our nation. And just a real fast announcement I wanted to tell y'all is I am getting ready to I guess it'll be like Thanksgiving weekend because everybody will be home. I'm going to start having a video show. Brother Majors, Yehukanan, Yashala, all them, they've submitted some of their videos already. I'm going to feature those on the first show. I recently hooked up with Brother Zadok Ben Israel. He's going to be submitting some videos. I'm working on getting him on the show to have a discussion on a topic. I'll be bringing that out later. But anyway, enough with the announcements. Let me introduce real fast my brother Nathan White. The way I came upon Nathan White is William Majors Brown sent me in my inbox one of his videos, and the video was titled "Can We Find Common Ground and Build Together?" So right there, that title sparked something with me, and I checked the video out. And here, if you want to go to the brother's Facebook page after the interview, you could check out his video. But I checked the video out, and it was he was just bringing out some heavy stuff. I could definitely feel the brother's passion. So I reached back out to William Majors, and I said, "Hey man, I'd like to bring that brother on the show and just chop it up with him." And he put me down with him. I talked to him for a while, really saw where his head was at, and I think he's an awesome brother. I like his passion, and so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hand it over to him. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and I'm gonna let. So I just want him to kind of. I told him earlier, I just want him to give his testimony a little bit, and then we'll get into his mindset and what he sees in the Hebrew community, the goods, the bads, and the uglies. So with that said, shalom, brother Nathan.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom.
How's
And
it going?
if you could just introduce yourself to everybody and tell them a little about yourself and your testimony and all that. And there's no time restraint, so you could just go in however you feel led to go.
Okay, if I start rambling too much, my son made me coffee. I swear he put like 10 scoops in. So, so as he said, my name is Nathan White. I live in Wisconsin now. I was born and raised in Texas. My parents moved me up here when I was 15. I just got out of juvenile for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And they're like, nah, we're going to Wisconsin. We don't want you getting in any more trouble. It'll keep you out of trouble. There's nothing up there. And I was like, I don't want to go. That doesn't sound like it's in the United States. I swear I'm in Canada. It's so cold outside right now. But so we got up here and I just progressively got worse. I started drinking, started smoking weed more. And eventually, because of alcohol, I did a burglary on a house with, I guess, some friends. And when we got arrested, it was $171,000 burglary. So I ended up pleading out to that and taking 1 year in county, 15 years of probation, plea bargain. And the next year I got revoked with 2 more burglaries and they laid me down. The DA wanted 30, 35. The judge said 35 was too much. He was gonna give me 30. He was gonna give me 20 in, 10 out. And went back on appeal. I gave him over half of that back, like I told him I would at sentencing. But after that 5 years and I got out of prison, everything was different. I was scared to come home. Like, prison really destroys your mind. You get so set in how things run in prison, you don't remember how things run in real life. It's hard to integrate back into society. And it's something that the prison system isn't set up to help people with, really. It's kind of like you hit your release date, all right, get out the building. So I struggled a lot for probably the first 6 or 7 months. Couple PO holds for being out of bars. And then there was one big one that did it for me, and that's when I dove back into the Bible heavy. My wife was 6 months pregnant. I just got my first motorcycle. Went to a motorcycle show with a friend, and on the way back, cop went to pull us over, and I was riding no license, no registration, no insurance, and a false plate on the motorcycle. And I'm on parole, and I'm like, I don't want to go to prison for 10 years. So I ran, ended up laying the bike down at 130, 135 and
Wow.
broke the left side of my neck in 7 places.
Wow.
Yeah. And after the hospital stay, I was in county jail in a neck brace. And I just remember thinking, I'm not going to meet my son until he's 10. And I got on my face and I cried out. I'm like, I don't know if you're real. I don't know if you care about me. But if you get me out of this, I promise you I'll give you my whole life.
Wow.
And the next day, my PO came up and saw me, and she's like, well, when can you go back to work? I was like, well, they say about 3 months till all the bones heal back up in my neck. And she's like, all right, well, when you can go back to work, I'm going to let you go home. I got out of jail. My wife had Bernard 2 weeks later. And since then, it's been like, I can't do it again. I can't. And my passion has really become prison. But coming out of the Christian church, the way that happened was there was a lady who had posted something about African Americans being the true Israelites. And I wanted to blast her biblically. So I'm like, all right, show me your evidence. And she sent me Brother Yerushalayim's video, The Negro Deception, I think it's titled.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that and I was sitting on my couch crying. And ever since then, it's been a crazy ride, but it's been fun. That's basically my story in a nutshell.
Okay. And so what led you to do the video that you did titled Can We Find Common Ground? Can We Build Together? What was the inspiration for that?
Honestly, it was Majors. It was Elder William Brown, in all honesty. And it's not something that he said. It's just the way he teaches and the way he goes about things. And then when you look throughout like the different camps and then the Christian denominations, it's like, there's such a big separation between the two. And at the end of the day, we're all seeking to please God. And one of his lessons where he was breaking down Matthew 5:17, and he was showing that they would still be in the kingdom, but they would be least in the kingdom. Like he was showing the language, how it went. Mm-hmm. And that's really what sparked it for me. It's like, wait, so we're fighting a war that we shouldn't be fighting. I mean, obviously there's going to be things that we have to take a stance on. Like if an Israelite camp is telling us, well, we have to sacrifice, we got to take a stance on that. Like, no, we don't do these things. And if a Catholic were to tell us, or a Christian were to tell us, well, you got to pray to Mary, you got to pray to the saints, you got to take a stand on that. There's things that we'll have to shut down biblically, but then there's things where it's a debatable issue. It could go either way. So on those issues, it's more or less, if you do anything that's not in faith, it's a sin to you. So if it's not a faith, don't do it. And I mean, from there we can build. We can find that common denominator, which if it's not Christ, then obviously we can't build. But if that common denominator is Christ, we can build out from there.
Right. Yeah, and one of the things, one of my big points, or one of my big things is, because like with me, especially now, I deal with people that are in the camps, and I deal with people who are in the Christian church. And like I was talking to Zadok yesterday, excuse me, and I was telling him that one of the main areas I see division at is people are drawing lines of division almost like a gang mentality where, oh, you claiming that set, you with them? And what I found is I draw my line of division based on character, not ministry or whatever. But what I found is the people, whether they're in the same ministry or whatever as me or wherever they're at, if they're a person kind of low character, they're not wanting to, they're not open to hearing dialogue, then I draw a line of division with that. But like I said, I've seen people in the camps that are receptive, and some of them have came out because they see that, you know what I'm saying? That it's a character issue, and you can win them over that way. And same thing with Christianity, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I try not to get too caught up in who they're affiliated with. Although that does play a big a lot of times it is an indicator of their mindset. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm asking, do you see things similar to that?
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to, is if like I was telling you, me and Jerry have a great friendship, and we talk on the phone quite a bit. When we get on the phone, it's like hour and a half, and we're in the Bible the entire time. And he's like, I don't understand some of these camp guys, but I see why everybody was getting mad, saying, no, you need to talk to Balance Hebrews and stop focusing on the camps.
Right.
And I mean, if we weren't able to build that dialogue, yeah, there would be nowhere for us to go from there, because every time we spoke, it'd be a debate.
Exactly.
And eventually we have to get past that point where we're always trying to prove ourselves right. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I'm right or if you're right. It just matters that we're in this word and we're striving together to do what it says.
Exactly. And that's why when I, like, majority of the Hebrews or whoever I run into, because like I said, I've dealt with camps, and there was one camp where as soon as you walk up to them, they not even say, hey, how you doing, brother? Hey, what's your name? What's going on with you? No, they're like, where your fringes? Where's this?
Yeah.
Do you keep this? It's like, dude, be a human. It's like, you out here like Terminator too. You know, like Sarah Connor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like, be a human. And a lot of, like, and there's a brother that, and he can be a witness to this. He's in ISUPK. Met him down here in Florida, and we didn't talk about doctrine till months after knowing each other. I had already helped him out with his car. He had already helped me do some stuff, and it was just like, okay, you a brew, I'm a brew. We in this word, you know. I know the basics of what you about. So boom, and then he's just a person with a good character, you know.
Yep.
And to this day, I know I could call him if my car broke down. He'd come pick me up. You know what I'm saying? And it's, you know, and you know, like I said, just the title of your video hit me. You know what I'm saying? And so I, you know, like I said, then I watched the whole thing, and it was awesome. But if you could tell us how you came in to William Majors and how you began to deal with him.
There was, like I said, the lady that I had wanted to mock. And then I was like, hold on, I got to hear more about this after I watched the video. And she's like, well, follow this guy. So then I went to his page, followed him, started listening to him a lot. And I think the first day I followed him, I asked him, I'm like, hey, do I need to read the Apocrypha or the rest of the books? I phrased it somehow like that. And the only answer I got back was no. And I'm like, what is this? Here I am trying to learn from this guy, and he don't even want to talk to me. And but now looking back, I realize, and as I was pulling out of the church and out of bad doctrine, it's like I took a torch and said that the whole church was full of zombies, and I just wanted to burn it down. And that's how angry I was.
Wow.
And after I calmed down, which was this year, I started mellowing out and just trying to actually learn, stop trying to teach. And he hit me up and he's like, I think it's about time we had a conversation. So I was like, okay. And I don't remember if I sent him my number or he sent me his, but we got on the phone and we had a really good conversation. And he's just one of those guys, man. When you listen to him, from the time I've started following him, he hasn't changed his approach in any way, shape, or form. It's like, you want to follow me? I'm going to teach you what the word actually says. If you don't like how I say it, not my problem. Yeah. And that's what I love and respect about him the most, is that every time I listen to him, he cuts me deep. And I'm like, man, now I got to work on this too. But it's, it's turned into a really good thing for me. He's a great encourager. Like, once he sees somebody's mind is settled down and they're out of the emotional phase, he's like, hey, you got work to do, but you got to learn.
Right.
So why don't you sit down, learn, and then get out and do your work? And it's, when somebody has that Christ-like image, like, I picture him almost like the Apostle Paul, just saying, follow me as I follow Christ. And that's, in all honesty, how I picture him. And his character, watching his character, and like, I double check everything that he teaches on. If I'm listening to it at work, I'll get home, go back through it again. Some things I got to listen 2 or 3 times because he hurts my feelings so bad. So I want to make sure I get everything out of it.
Okay.
But he's just a good dude, man. I wish everybody could come to the understanding of who we are, and then find either him or someone like him, because he will make that transition. And it's only through the Spirit of God, but he will make that transition from the doctrine that we were all taught in Christianity to the Bible and teaching that good biblical foundation. Right. He'll make that so much easier.
Right. And that was something that, that I understand. I know, and a lot of people kind of wrestle with, but like I said, I've worked with him firsthand. So I'm like you. I've seen him yield fruit and fruit come out. But on the same note, I could say on the other end, I've watched ISUPK firsthand, and I've seen them yield fruit and fruit come out. And it's, I don't agree with everything everybody does, but especially with me with this show, and then now I'm dealing with everybody closer, and I guess I have a unique perspective, but I do see a body beginning to come together. I see certain parts of the body that are tougher than other parts and serve different purposes. And just like a foot really don't have too much to do with a shoulder blade, but they really don't have nothing to do with each other, and they really can't relate to each other, but they still part of that same body. And that's like a heavy understanding that I'm coming into. And the Ak I was talking about earlier, he's watching now, and he just put a good comment up there. His name is Kazak, and he's ISUPK, but he made a good statement here. He said, Shalom Ak, he said the entire spirit of the law is brotherhood, and that's good. I mean, I definitely agree with that. And really, because something else I got from that video you did that popped in my head it's like a self-help book statement that the guy said. And he said, seek to understand first, then to be understood, or seek to see where there's similarities first, and then later on, it'll be easier to work through the differences. But one of the frustrating things I've seen pop up a lot in the Hebrew Israelite community is a lot of people seeking to, they're seeking to point immediately confront differences.
Yeah.
To the point where you could get a brother from the ISUPK and then another brother from IUIC, and they could be living next door to each other, and if they found out they were both in there, they probably wouldn't even be talking to each other. It's like, I'm telling you, between certain groups, that's how divisive it is. It's almost like Crips and Bloods, and I don't like that, man, But all right, there's a comment here. Were you okay? So I think this is a question for you. Brother Hill asks, were you angry when you found out you were lied to about your identity?
I was. And today I don't like to say they lied, because I would say most pastors have never been taught these things. They'll read it like all of us did throughout Christianity. We'll read it and then we'll never catch it. And I think that's what's happened is, while it was a lie that was passed down, I see a lie as intentionally misleading.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone isn't intentionally misleading me, then they haven't really lied to me. They misinformed me. So the misinformation, yeah, I was angry about that. I thought all pastors were liars. I thought all Christians were the devil. I wanted nothing to do with any of it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a pastor friend up in Medford, and he's hung with me throughout all this when the rest of the church was like, you're going a little too crazy for us. He stayed in contact with me, and he would invite me every Sunday. Hey, why don't you come to church with me? I'm like, man, I can't. I'm not supposed to worship on a Sunday. And now I look back and I'm like, you idiot. You worship God every day of your life. So why can't you go to a church on a Sunday? Like, if I say I love these people, then I should be willing to go back in. And because a lot of people do ask me, a lot of people around here know me because I'm one of 20 black guys in the area. It's bad.
I heard about it out west there, boy.
So a lot of people do ask me questions, and the conversation is always there. I mean, it's something that I no longer try to cut people because I don't always have to. Sometimes it's people are honestly asking, and they're not always seeking to expose. So it's more of just that honest dialogue in the church. And if we say we love our brothers, but we're going to say they shouldn't be going to a Christian church, well, then we should be willing to get back in and pull them out. Like Paul went into the synagogue with the Jews, and they were doing everything that he was saying was no longer necessary. They were still trying to circumcise. They were trying to convince Gentiles they needed to circumcise into the old covenant. Mm-hmm. And so he still went in and reasoned the scriptures with them. This is the same thing that we have to do today.
Yeah. And the understanding on that, because like when I was kind of young in my understanding, I'd be like, nah, you can't go back there. But then what you got to understand, like Majors, like I've told him before, like this stuff he does with Boom, I was like, well, I'm not doing that. I was like, if I'm going to teach there, I'm not going to do that, right? Because where and he'd be like, he's like, yeah, Mike, I know the way you are. But but it's just that coming into maturity in this thing and understanding that it is a body, and especially that scripture in Ezekiel with the dried bones and the process and how that happened and how each bone began to find its way to the other bone and the body began to come together. You know what I'm saying? And seeing on a large level. And again, I'm in a unique position because I deal with people all across the Hebrew community. I see that happening, and it's growing pains. It's a process. Folks be getting mad. I do. I know I be getting mad and frustrated. I'll be like, you know what? I'm done. And then I just the next day I'm back at it again. But it's growing pains, and it's an amazing time. Especially, I keep saying it every show, but that these messages Josh has did these past couple days from Hebrew Nation Builders, showing these end time prophecies and what's really going on. It's like, whoa, man! It's like this is an exciting time. But real quick, okay, Sister Edna, I see what you put in there. Okay, so Sister Edna said, I'm looking for somewhere to worship. Is anything around in the Brunswick, Georgia area? If my memory serves me correctly, Brunswick, Georgia is kind of closer to here in Jacksonville. So what I would recommend is you hook up with William Majors Brown, Boom Church. that is on YouTube. If it's not there, he also has a church up in Atlanta. And then also in Atlanta is the Hebrew Nation Builders with Josh Cullins, and Morris Williams. They're on YouTube and Facebook also. They're called the Hebrew Nation Builders, Rebirth of a Nation. But I think Brunswick, Georgia is closer to here in Jacksonville. So I recommend, because Majors has church down here twice a month, so I recommend you reach out to him. Or you can message me on YouTube. Now you're on Ugo's channel right now, Israel Ben Yehuda. So you'd have to go over to the Spiritual Combat channel on YouTube. Reach out to me there. Reach out to me in the comments. And I'll put you down with Majors and everything like that. And I know I interrupted everything, but I'm serious about, I know a lot of Hebrews are isolated out there, and I'm actually working on something. You isolated too, see? But we know, you just put it out to the masses that you're in Wisconsin. They know how to hook up with you on Facebook. People going to reach out to you, bro. But because I was isolated for years, and when I finally did reach out and step out, yeah, there's some crazy stuff out there in Hebrew land. I'll just put it to okay, so thanks so much. All right. So yeah, so sister, just reach out. If you're on Facebook, I know a lot of y'all on YouTube don't want to get on Facebook, but if you are, reach out to me there. Reach out to William Majors Brown, Morris Williams, or Josh Cullins, and they will put you into the network. All right, let me check the questions. All right, so William Major said everybody can't be a Navy SEAL. Only the elite can go into places nobody else will. And I've told Majors that before, man, because I've seen his patience where the Most High got him at, where he's super patient when it comes to dealing with people coming out of Christianity. And I'm not talking about, they went to church. I'm talking about hardcore, interwoven Christians. He is super patient. But when it comes to dealing with a Hebrew, hey man, that is not his calling. It's so quick.
But when I first started following him and I was listening to him biblically, and I would see somebody trying to debate him in comments, or he had a debate coming up on your show, I'm like, oh, I feel sorry for whoever that is.
Yeah, man.
He don't play.
Nah. All right. So there's someone here. Is what about North Carolina? Okay, that is gonna be what's the major contact Majors. He's right there in the comments. Majors is gonna reach out to you because he got some brothers over in Charlotte, North Carolina, I think. All right. If not, I know Hebrew Nation Builders is near there. Well, no, they're in Augusta, and Josh is in Anderson, South Carolina. So, like I said, I'm not good at geography and all that stuff, so, but they're going to work with you on it. Okay? So, what about Oklahoma? Isn't Wisconsin near Oklahoma?
No, okay. Texas and Oklahoma.
Okay, Oklahoma is going to be Dimitri Milligan, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, anyway, reach out to me. Think before you act. Reach out to me, and I can. What's Wisconsin near?
We're surrounded by Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota.
Okay. And there's a conference up there in December that I'm working on trying to go to. So, and he's trying to build people in that area. You know, Judah Mack's out in that area also. He just came out of a camp. So
where is he at?
Kentucky. Is that near you?
I don't think so.
Okay, like I said, didn't do good in high school, so now y'all know why.
Well, my parents told me we were moving to Wisconsin. I thought it was out of the country. So you're still doing better than me.
Yeah. All right, let's see. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely have brother Nathan on again. And do you? I know you do music. Do you do regular teachings?
No, I do not consider myself a teacher.
Oh,
I'm
okay, you
still,
just felt inspired to put
my,
that out at the time.
yeah, my calling is to get into prison, and I have an application in the prison I was housed at. So
Awesome. And can
I'm
you
waiting
talk
to
about
hear
that a
back.
little bit?
Yeah. So as I was saying, the prison system doesn't really have anything that will teach people how to reintegrate into society. But my last parole visit, when I filled out all my discharge paperwork, she was like, so she was looking before my crash and then after. And she's like, so what changed? I was like, well, after my crash, I told God, if you get me out of this, I'll give you my entire life. And since then, it's just been a process. And then once I found that we were still supposed to be walking in his laws, statutes, and commandments, um, is when everything really got super easy for me, because once I started following his laws, I didn't have to worry about man's law anymore.
Right.
There was nothing they could accuse me of that could throw me in jail. So I want to get in, and I want to teach people there's a way of life that we're called to. There's a God who is real, who is going to punish. And, they're not their conviction. They can be better. You can get past probation, parole. These things are doable. And it really comes with a change of mind. So I know it's nothing that I will say that does it, but it'll be Christ working that'll do it for them.
Right.
So that's my hope and my prayer, that I can get back in there. It's about 3 hours away, the prison I'm trying to get into.
Okay.
But it's for young men 18 to 25. They call it a gladiator school. I really just want to, I want to go back to what started it all for me.
Right. And you said something I wanted you to elaborate on. You said that they don't prepare you to get out. And the way what am I right when I say this, that you're on this regiment, this constant routine, then all of a sudden, boom, you're outside and it's just this whole scary world or whatever?
Yeah, that's so I went from a maximum security to a medium security. And then from there, they sent me to a drug and alcohol treatment facility for 6 months. And then on my release, it was just, all right, here you go. And so each group of inmates had a social worker. And the guy that was my social worker, Paul Westra, really good dude, really cool. He walked me out the front door and I started shaking. Like,
Dang.
my parents were sitting right there. Well, my dad, my brother, his wife, and my niece were sitting there in the car, and I'm standing on the stairs shaking. I'm afraid to leave. It was, yeah, it's hard. It's hard mentally to come out of prison and back into life, because you don't know what to expect. You know what to expect in prison. You know what to look for. You know the signs to look for. You know the mentality in prison is, I'm here, I'm doing time, don't mess with me, I ain't got nothing to lose. And outside of prison, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, they've been waking me up, telling me when to eat. They've been telling me when I can shower. They've been telling me when I can go outside. They've been telling me when to go to bed. Like, what am I supposed to do now? Now I have to go out here and make the right decision on my own. So my dad was a really big help to me. He got me a job. So the day after I got out of prison, I went to work.
Wow.
I was like, I'm not playing. Like, I got to do this. And I did have a problem with alcohol. They say alcoholism is for life, but I don't know. I've had a glass of wine since I've been off parole. I've had a beer since I've been off parole, and both of them are like, oh, this is gross. I don't. I don't want this. So it's kind of like, I don't believe it's for life. I think we can be delivered from anything.
Yeah, I was an alcoholic, especially being in the military and being in maintenance and like and just going in the military. I was already an alcohol, but then once I got in the military, it was like berserk, and to the point where like I smell it, my pupils shrink, and I'm like drinking the whole bottle like a freak show. But like I said, I haven't had a sip. You know, I don't mess with it. You know, I have no desire. Real fast.
Okay.
Sister Debbie, you said, what about Detroit? We're going to be up there in December, and what happens when we have a conference like that, all the people come out, and that's one of the things we do in the conference and the workshop is make sure everybody knows the local Hebrew and the local Hebrew communities in that area. We did the same thing in New Jersey, and we had turned out there were 3 groups up there, and I still need to get them on the show. Issachar was one of them. There's another group, and then I want to and then another sister said, what about Colorado? Sister Yasha Haya Bain. I know I tore that up bad. All right. Anyway, they on Ugo's channel. Israel ben Yehuda. Yisrael ben Yehuda. So, but you said, what about Colorado? I'm not sure about Colorado because I'm not sure where it's at, but I think it's near Kansas City. And if it is, you got Dimitri Milligan out there. All right. But I also want y'all to know about this tool because they're going to be launching this here, I think, this month. And that is Arminta Connect. Get registered on there and just put out where you're located at. And the whole purpose of it, let me pull it up real quick, is it says, we developed Arminta Connect to be a lifestyle resource to connect Hebrew individuals, communities, and businesses. So that's the purpose of it. So just type this in right here, .com, and get registered on there. And when they launch that, that'll be a good tool to get all y'all connected. Because I'm telling you, and this is Bible prophecy right here. Because people are beginning to wake up and get connected and all that. I know when I came in this truth, like I said, me and my wife were isolated for years. Because we weren't going to, we weren't going to jump in a camp. You know, we that just wasn't us. All right. So, all right, hold on. Okay, let me bring you back up there. There we go. So yeah, y'all definitely check that out. Let me see if there's any more questions, brother. If you want, brother Nathan, if you want to conclude it, and because we're gonna start wrapping it up here, and I'm gonna check for questions.
Okay. Yeah. If the only thing I'd ask is that while we seek to build this nation up, that we do it in love, that we find that common ground and we build together. I really need everybody's prayers because I really, really want to get back into this prison. But yeah, if you're not already listening to Majors or you're not following Michael Israel's show all the time, do it, because they always have some. Elder Brown always has some messages that's going to cut you but make you grow at the same time. And the Michael Israel Spiritual Combat, it always has some good speakers. And that opening song, I don't know who that is, but that is lit, man. I like that.
Yeah, that's Morris Williams, Fire in My Soul. They're with Hebrew Nation Builders. Morris Williams, you can see his name right there. And it's Fire in My Soul. And, yeah, that's my jam, on a bunch of levels. But my wife said, Michael, you got to change the music. That's what my wife, so like I said, I'm going to be starting a video show here. Majors already sent me some videos. I know, yeah, John sent me some already, and I'm just, if y'all want me to play your videos, just send them to me on Messenger or whatever, and I'll put them on there. And that show is gonna, it'll probably be an hour and a half long. It'd be like Yo MTV Raps. It'd be Yo Spiritual Combat Raps. You know
Nice.
Nah, I ain't gonna be there. But yeah, just send them out. And like I said, I told Nathan also, because he does music. I said, send your stuff. We'll get it on there. Because one of my big things is I want an alternative to this poison that's on television brainwashing people, you know. So that's one of my big things. But yes, brother, I was talking about Dimitri Milligan. Those are your Midwest Hebrews out there. Kansas City, all that stuff like that. And if you reach out to Dimitri Milligan, he can definitely connect you with somebody out there in the Midwest, because he's well connected, well known, and a awesome teacher. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, with that said, y'all, Brother Nathan, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
We're going to talk. I want to help you or put you down with some people to help you do this prison thing. And anyway, with that said, y'all, I'm going to wrap this broadcast up. Appreciate Brother Nathan coming on. And with that said, y'all, shalom.
Shalom.
It don't matter, anybody get it, man. We gon' rise up, we rise up. If you come against the king, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our Elohim, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man. We gon' rise up, we rise up, and rise up.
Oh me, oh my. Atheist tweeting OMG. Life came to a standstill and then got real with them prophecies. Every time we done pass go, monopolize the monopoly. You give us 200, take 300, charge us for the property. Y'all gave us this authority. To be honest, got it honestly. Which means we are joint heirs. Zombies twins on a trampoline. We speak what he wrote. Melania's speech, Michelle's notes. Israel hit the ground running like a